to look at what I have to work with. And I can probably guarantee you right now that this is a strip of sheet metal, either riveted or panel bonded underneath the Bondo. Because if you look over here, when I push down on this, that crack opens up, and it opens up straight to down here. So I'm guessing there's a piece of sheet metal right here. And let's check in the back and see if I'm right. Oh yeah, see that? So this had all rotted away right here. But they didn't want to cut and weld it and fix it properly. So what they did was they put this piece of sheet in front of it, hit it with rivets or panel bond or something, and then they just paved over the whole thing. More work, but makes it fun. You can see there is also brass in here. They used to fix holes and stuff with brass back in the day, so that's rather normal to see on older vehicles. And this is just a quick backyard. Someone had a friend who had a friend that did body work. You know, got them by. Probably got a sticker. Not the proper way to do it. Not how I'm gonna do it, but it is what it is. So I got most of the mud off. This is an actually pretty old repair because that plate is brazed on with brass. So that's pretty old. So I can't fault them too much. That's how they used to do things. It's completely the wrong way to do things nowadays. So I'm gonna end up cutting this whole thing out. Probably cutting all the way up here where there's meat, coming around, back down, around, and then adding a whole new piece of steel into this corner here and MIG welding it in properly. I'm gonna pull all these little dents. I don't know if you can see those. All these little dents, I'm gonna hammer them, pull them back out to make sure this is all proper. They actually brazed the fender here to the body of the car. I'm guessing that was because up there the fender mounts to the body had rotted through, so there's not much structure. They're probably the same down here, so they actually just brazed it. You can see the crack down here where the fender meets the body, and you can see it back up here. This was all filled with mud too. You can see that crack there, but down here you follow the crack and it's all brazed to the car. So I'm gonna have to cut that too and then make sure it mounts properly. And if you can look right here, the mud is actually pretty much the height of my finger. Completely wrong way to do this nowadays. But who knows, back in the day when they did this, I'm guessing 70s and 80s, you'd think they would have known better, but who knows. Backyard bodywork. Alright, so I got all the mud off this rear fender, this rear passenger side fender. Went up pretty high. You can see there's brass down here, and then that bad patch we found earlier. So I'm guessing these were little rot holes that they just brassed in. But at the same time they did that, the amount of heat they had to use to braze this made this fender like the surface of the moon. So I'm gonna have to cut out all of these little brass things and make patches all in here, and then hammer and dolly this whole fender smooth. Because obviously I don't want as much mud as they had on this thing. And that brass can't stay because there's similar metals and all that fun stuff, and I'd rather have a nice MIG welded patch in here around where that rot was instead of a big old blob of brass. And I have to address this too because that's all high right here. So hopefully we can work this all out to be smooth the way it's supposed to be, how it was from the factory. So for now, I'm going to take flat black paint primer mixture and paint over this so the surface doesn't flash rust overnight. I will come back and I'll clean that all off and, you know, do it right. And I'm wondering if there's mud up here in this body line too. But I'm not digging into that right yet. I'm just going to do all the rot work first, try to get it running, and then drive it for a bit. But I mean, you can see up here, I'm guessing that's the lead line that just goes up, because that's where the roof would attach to the quarter panel. And usually that would have been leaded, unless somebody took the lead out. But it's definitely not smooth. You can feel it. You can feel the jump. This is high, this is low. Yeah. I removed all the mud on the front of the rear fenders and hit it with flat black just to make it so it doesn't flash over the surface rust. I had a lot of metal work to do because all these little spots of the brass like I showed you before, and then obviously that big ugly patch, but I have to do a lot of hammer and dolly work to get these straight again. And I don't even know if there's more mud back here or not. I'm guessing if you can see that, that might mean there's mud in here. It might just mean that there was a crappy prep job before they painted it. I don't know. I'm guessing there's definitely mud right here because you can see the tool marks and there's rot back there. I know there's rot. I'm gonna guess there's mud here. Just like the other side, you can see there's a crack here. There's a bubble up here. I'm guessing there's mud under there. There's definitely mud under here because if you look in the back, just like the other side, there's a big rot hole and they put a plate over it. So I'm guessing this is just like the other side where you can see, I'm guessing that's brazed to the car right there, and that's probably all mud all the way down. Let's dig into it and see what we can find. In the long run, it doesn't help anyone, but I guess it made it look somewhat nice-ish for some years. But I'm gonna have to do it right now. And the driver's side. Took all the mud off that guy too. Gonna need a lot of patchwork.